The insert statement is one of the 4 staple queries that you're going to use quite a bit in T-SQL, and you can bet you're going to see this on the exam. So let's talk about this statement. Now, the insert statement is the primary or the most commonly used method for adding data to a table. Now, there are quite a few options when using insert. And what I want to do is show you the documentation on this, and then we'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later on here in this video. But what I want you to see is that if you go out to the SQL Server Management Studio, and a lot earlier in the course, we talked about downloading books online and loading it locally on your machine where it will run. If you did that, just like I'm doing here, you can click on Help and choose View Help. And if you didn't do that, it's going to try to connect you to the web. And if you have an internet connection, you can get to the same place as I'm going here anyway. And notice I can click on Books Online for SQL Server because I have it running locally. And just as a quick reminder, I'm going to close Help down. And if you go to Help and choose Manage Help Settings, you can decide whether you want to run this locally or if you want to get it off of online help. So just keep that in mind. And notice here it comes up finally. And notice I can choose online or local help and all that. So I'm going to escape that or exit that and go back to View Help. And I'm going to go into Books Online. Now, what I'm wanting you to see here is if I just go to Search Documentation up here in the upper right and just type Insert and press Enter, notice it takes me to various inserts. And right here's the one I'm looking for, Insert for Transact SQL. And I click that and it takes me to it. Now, I'm going to just slowly scroll down with the mouse wheel here. And I want you to notice, go back up, this is the main syntax for the insert statement. Here's some more syntax. Here's some more syntax. And now we get into the arguments and all these various things that you can do with these different syntax options. Now notice I'm still scrolling and I can scroll for a while here. And if you'll notice right over here, we've got a lot of information to scroll through. So we could probably spend 2 hours just on the insert command, right? And you notice you have examples down in here and there's a separate examples section. And notice right here, they're going to direct you to basic syntax, handling column values, inserting data from other tables. Notice you can capture the results of the insert statement with the output clause. And my best advice to you, both the real world and for the exam, is to go look through this documentation, okay? Print it out, read over it, play with it, make sure that it's making sense to you. Because they technically could ask you anything, although we're going to concentrate on 3 things in our examples, and that's insert using values, which is the standard basic way of using the insert statement, insert select, which is a very popular way of using it, and insert exec, where we're going to call stored procedures. Now, these 3 are the most common on the exam, but again, anything technically is fair game, so you want to familiarize yourself with that documentation. Now, here's the basic syntax of the insert statement. We put the words insert into and the name of the table we're inserting to. Normally you'll have schema.table name. And then we will list the columns in the order we want to put the data in. Then we'll put the word values. Notice these columns are in parentheses separated by commas. Then we'll put the word values, then open parentheses, and we'll put the values that we're going to input. And these have a positional relationship. Column 1 value will go into the column 1 name here in this position. Column 2 value goes into the second position, column 2 name here. So it's going to match these up. Now here's the part that will kind of throw you if you're not used to this command. If you're putting the values in the order of the columns as they are in the table, and you're putting them in every column except those that have default values, you don't have to include these. You can just do insert into table, values, and put your values and they'll go in. Now, this is not a big deal. If they won't go in, you'll get an error message, but you got to be careful because if you put column 1 and column 2, and then down here you put column 2 and column 1, you're going to put the wrong values in the wrong columns. And if the data types of these columns and these values are close enough, it will do it, and you will have the wrong data in the wrong column. So you want to be careful with this and verify it. Now, keep in mind that data being added using insert must conform to the database table structure, constraints, relationships, and all that stuff. So if you got a primary key, you can't violate that. You're going to see that in the examples. You're going to see the column orders in the examples, and all those are going to be in a separate video. Now, see the documentation in SQL Books Online for a complete listing of the many options available when using insert. Now, I was showing you that a few minutes ago out there, but if you will go look in your working files folder for this chapter, I've downloaded and captured the chunk of that insert. There's a technical term for you, chunk. But I got that in a PDF format for you, and it's like, I don't know, 15, 17 pages on the insert statement, and you can just go find it in your working files folder, print that PDF out, take it with you, and just read over it over time. Now, if you'll go to the video in the course here, and it should be the next video in your course, although lots of things can change the order, so just look for a video called Using Insert, and you will see lots of examples on using these three insert types that I'm concentrating on here. And also, if you look in the working files folder, you will see example code that is exactly what you're going to see on the examples in the Using Insert video. So this will help you kind of get your head wrapped around insert, get your hands on some syntax, actually see it working with the AdventureWorks 2012 database. So we'll dive into the insert statement in the video Using Insert, and we'll take a look at some examples of coding this up. But make sure you're familiar and comfortable with this command. It will be on the exam.